You wake up in a 12 tatami room in Kyoto, and for a second, you don't know why your chest feels lighter than it did in your old apartment back home. There's no clutter here, no pile of unopened boxes, no closet stuffed with things you swore you'd use someday. Just a futon, a low wooden table, and morning light slicing through a paper screen. The air smells faintly of tatami straw and cooling tea. Somewhere outside, a bicycle bell rings twice, then fades. You sit up, and that's when the question hits you. Why does a stranger's empty room feel more like home than your own ever did? You didn't come to Japan looking for an answer. You came for vacation. A break. Somewhere quiet. But 3 days in, you can't shake the feeling that you stumbled onto something you weren't supposed to find. A secret hiding in plain sight, in the way people here live. Eat, wake, and let go. If you've ever felt buried under things you own, keep watching. Because what you're about to see might change the way you look at your entire life. And if this pulls you in the way it pulled me in, hit subscribe. You're going to want to see where this goes. It starts with a walk. You step outside into a narrow street lined with small shops. No towering billboards. No aggressive sales signs screaming for your attention. Just quiet storefronts, each one holding exactly what it needs. Nothing more. You pass a woman sweeping the entrance of a shop with slow, deliberate strokes. She's not rushing. She's not distracted by a phone. She's just present. You feel it before you understand it. Something about this place operates on a different rhythm than the one you left behind. The air is cool against your skin. Somewhere nearby, wind chimes tap out a soft, uneven melody. You realize your shoulders have dropped an inch without you noticing, like a weight quietly slid off in the moment you stepped outside. Then you meet Haruto. He's an old friend of a friend, mid-50s, calm eyes, a small apartment near the edge of the city. He invites you in for tea, and the moment you step through his door, something feels off, in the best way. The tea in your cup is pale green, steam curling upward in slow spirals. Sunlight lands on the floor in a single clean rectangle. There's almost nothing here. One table, 2 cushions, a single shelf holding maybe 15 books. No television mounted on the wall. No drawers overflowing with cords and receipts and forgotten things. You ask him, half joking, "Did you just move in?" He shakes his head. He's lived here 11 years. And that's when the real story begins. Haruto tells you about a word, Danshari, 3 characters that roughly translate to refuse, dispose, separate. Not just a cleaning method. A way of living. A way of thinking about every object, every commitment, every hour of your day. You lean in. You didn't expect a tea ceremony to turn into something this personal. He explains it simply. Before something enters your life, you ask if it truly serves you. Before it stays, you ask again. And when it stops serving you, you let it go, without guilt, without hesitation. You think about your own home, the drawer you haven't opened in 2 years, the closet you avoid looking at, the subscriptions you forgot you were paying for. Suddenly, this isn't just a story anymore. It's starting to feel like yours. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Haruto tells you the hardest part isn't getting rid of things. It's confronting why you held on to them in the first place. Fear of scarcity, fear of regret, fear of who you'd be without the stuff propping up your identity. You feel your stomach tighten, because somewhere in the back of your mind, you know he's not just talking about objects anymore. He's talking about you. The next morning, you wake up earlier than usual. You don't know why, but you feel restless, Like your old life back home is starting to look different from this distance. You decide to test something. You walk to a nearby park, and you notice something strange. No one is filming themselves. No one is performing for an audience. People are just sitting, watching koi swim in slow circles, doing absolutely nothing, and somehow it looks like everything. The water in the pond catches the afternoon light, breaking it into 100 shifting fragments. Somewhere behind you, gravel crunches under slow footsteps. An elderly man sits alone under a maple tree, sipping tea from a small thermos. No phone, no noise, just stillness. You sit beside him, uninvited, and he doesn't seem to mind. You ask him, through broken words and gestures, if he's ever bored living so simply. He smiles, shakes his head, then says something that stops you cold. Boredom is what happens when you have too much and feel too little. You don't fully understand it yet, but something about that sentence lodges itself in your chest and refuses to leave. That night, you can't sleep. You keep thinking about your apartment back home, the one stacked with things you don't remember buying, the one that costs you more every month just to maintain a life you don't even enjoy living. You start doing the math in your head. The subscriptions, the unused gym membership, the clothes with tags still on them, the storage unit you pay for just to hide things you're too afraid to throw away. And that's when the real twist hits you. You didn't come here to learn about Japan. You came here to confront your own life. The next day, Haruto takes you somewhere unexpected, a tiny apartment building known locally for its minimalist tenants. Some units are barely bigger than a hotel room, yet the people living there don't seem deprived. They seem free. The hallway smells faintly of fresh paint and cedar. One tenant, a young woman named Aiko, shows you her space. A bed, a desk, 3 shirts, 2 pairs of pants, a single pair of shoes, lined up perfectly by the door like they are waiting for permission to be worn. You ask if she ever feels like she's missing out. She says something that catches you off guard. I don't buy things to fill space. I buy experiences to fill time. You feel your chest tighten again, because deep down, you know exactly how much money you spent trying to fill emptiness with things instead of moments. This is where the stakes rise. Haruto tells you the real secret isn't minimalism for aesthetics. It's minimalism as freedom. Every object you own also owns a piece of your time, your money, your mental space. The fewer things demanding your attention, the more life you actually get to live. You start to feel something shift inside you, a mixture of excitement and dread, because now you can't unsee it. You think about every purchase you've made just to feel something. Every impulse buy meant to patch a bad day. Every item collecting dust, quietly reminding you of money you'll never get back. And you ask yourself the question you've been avoiding this whole trip. What would your life look like with less? Not less joy, not less comfort, just less noise. Before the sun sets, Haruto brings you to a small shrine tucked behind a bamboo grove. Barely anyone knows it's there. No souvenir stands. No crowds. Just wind moving through the leaves and the sound of your own breathing. The bamboo groans softly overhead, swaying in slow motion. Light filters down in thin green ribbons, brushing across your hands. You feel something settle inside your chest, like a hell breath finally released. He tells you something you won't forget. We don't clear space to have less. We clear space so something better has room to arrive. You stand there in silence, letting that sentence rearrange something inside you, because you realize the clutter back home was never just physical. It was blocking something you didn't even know you were waiting for. On your final night in Kyoto, Haruto invites you to a small gathering. Friends, quiet conversation, simple food shared at a low table. No decorations, no excess, just presence. You realize something powerful in that moment. This isn't poverty. This isn't sacrifice. This is abundance, just redefined. Not abundance of things. Abundance of time, of attention, of peace. You think about the life waiting for you back home. The clutter, the noise, the subscriptions on autopay, the things you own that quietly own you back. And for the first time, you don't feel afraid of letting go. You feel ready. The next morning, you pack your bag, and you notice something different. It fits easier now. Lighter, not because you left things behind physically, but because something inside you already has. The engines hum beneath you. The seatbelt sign clicks off. As your flight lifts off, you look down at the city fading beneath the clouds, and you understand the real secret you came here to find. It was never about spending less. It was about finally having room to live more. And somewhere back home, a version of your life is waiting to be simplified. One drawer, one decision, one quiet morning at a time. If this story made you think differently about the things you own, imagine what it could do for the life you're living. Subscribe and stay, because the next story might just change how you see your own home.